All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Math Puzzle Crash Course. I've got a problem that I've seen show up online quite a bit lately on Facebook, and I don't know why particular problems seem to show up more than others, but in the last week or two, I've seen this one show up everywhere, and there's been quite a heated debate about it. So if you'd like to try to solve this one, you're not really sure, you can go ahead and solve it. We'll pause the video here and come back and look at it together. All right. First of all, I want to say sometimes I've seen this shown as an expression, rather than an equation. And of course, what sets an equation apart from an expression is the fact that you have an equal sign. So this actually qualifies. I've got an equal sign here. Let me turn on my pointer. But we do have an equal sign here. I know it says equals a question mark, but that question mark could be a variable. We won't get into that, but really, that's the big difference. Now, what I see is a lot of confusion over a lot of acronyms, a lot of confusion over the order of operations. You have various acronyms. They all represent the same order of operations. It just depends on where you might be from in the world. Excuse me. But there's PEMDAS, there's BODMAS, there's BIDMAS, there's BEDMAS. You've got different acronyms here, but they all represent the same thing. The thing to keep in mind is, now I'm going to use PEMDAS as an example here. We could have used BODMAS. There's no difference. But first of all, you would solve everything inside of the parentheses. And this is probably the biggest area of confusion. Some people think parentheses means anything that's just outside of the parentheses, but that's incorrect. It means what's inside of the parentheses. We do have a 2 plus 3 inside. Number two would be your exponents. Now, in BODMAS, they use the word orders, which actually I prefer that one because really the second step represents anything that's shorthand for repeated multiplication. And that could be exponents, but it also could be things like square roots or even factorials, if you're familiar with those. That's where they use the exclamation mark after a number. So it could represent that as well. If you look at this problem, we do have parentheses, but we don't have any exponents. So we would skip that step. Number three, we have multiplication and division. And probably where I see a lot of people coming up with an incorrect answer is that they assume, if they're following PEMDAS, they assume that multiplication is done before division always, and that's not true. You don't go by the order of the letters P, E, M, D, A, S. You have to remember that the M and D are grouped together, the A and the S are grouped together. Multiplication and division have equal precedence. You just solve those left to right in whatever order you run into those. Same's true with addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction have equal precedence. Subtraction is nothing more than adding a negative number. And in the step three, division is nothing more than multiplying by a reciprocal. So you just solve those left to right as you run into those. Um, so in this example, we said we would solve what's inside parentheses. So you have 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5. We're left with 100 divided by 4 times 5. Now remember, when you see a number next to a parenthesis, that's considered implicit multiplication. And I will say a little bit more about that as we go on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I have entire videos dealing with what's known as implicit multiplication or the convention of multiplication by juxtaposition. I'm not going to go into it in a lot of detail here. So we said before that multiplication and division are solved left to right. And in this problem, our division is before the multiplication. You can see that we're dividing 100 divided by 4 before we're multiplying 4 times 5. And I already know I can hear people screaming that saying that, well, PEMDAS says M before D. And again, that's not correct. You need to go back and review what PEMDAS actually represents, or if you're following BODMAS, you need to look that up. Again, 100 divided by 4 is 25. 25 times 5 is what? Um, 25 times 5 is 125. Multiplication would be your last step. So it's in this problem, you're solving the parentheses, then the division, then the multiplication based on that. So I hope this does make sense. Now, um, there is another convention that's not used often, and again, I will put a link in the video about implicit multiplication or multiplication by juxtaposition, and that is where that convention actually gives a higher priority to implied multiplication. So if you're following that, then you would actually solve the multiplication outside of the parentheses before doing the division. But I will say that that is not universally accepted. And I know in North America with order of operations, that's really not taught anywhere. It's an older convention that is still out there in some places. And again, I'm going to put a link in the video about that particular convention, but I'm not going to go into it here. So if you are following PEMDAS, you are following BODMAS, the correct answer is 125. So as far as that goes, there is no debate. I'll see people say PEMDAS says it's 5 or whatever, but that is not correct. So I hope the video has been helpful. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.